Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
How are you feeling, and how's packing and prepping and everything?
Good. It's been good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do your passport, everything, do you need a visa?
I have a visa, but I have a funny story about how I didn't get a visa last time because nobody told me these things.
What happened?
Well, it was the first time I went. Yeah, I was kind of unaware that you need to get a visa to get on the plane.
So how'd you get on the plane?
I did so much research on traveling, but somehow that wasn't made entirely clear to me. Yeah. And then I went on the website. It was like a week before when I realized it. And they're like, okay, this is going to take 5 business days. And then I have such ADHD that I'm like, oh, well, I'm leaving next week. That's probably, I'll get it later this week. So I put it off even more when I only had 5 business days.
Right.
So yeah, then I applied for it when I had 2 business days or 3, and my plane was leaving at I think 6 a.m, and at 4 a.m. I still didn't have a visa.
Oh my gosh! Wait, were you at the airport?
It was I need to leave for the airport now.
Right.
And yeah, I had spent all night emailing and calling every company because they're awake at that hour. And there's all these private companies who are like, well, we know someone at the visa department.
Yes.
Just pay us. We'll get it done.
Yeah. I've used that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's really hard to know, is that legit? And so I'm going on Reddit, is this site, there's 100 of these random sites. And how can this be? And is this legit? So I just picked 2 of them and just threw $300 or $400 at them, and one of them came through at the very last minute.
Oh, that's amazing. I definitely have been there, and also with Reddit on one screen and just panic calls on the other.
I was freaking out.
That's amazing. And so is that visa still cover this travel? That was a while ago.
Yeah, at the time they were only doing 1-month visas for Americans. They're not so welcoming to Americans as a country, believe it or not.
I'm not surprised.
So they just reinstated the 3-month visa. So that's what I got.
Oh, that's good.
And if I wanted to stay longer, I would run across the border to Thailand and back, do a visa run.
And just start again.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And like a week in Thailand is kind of fun too.
I've heard it's a beautiful place.
It definitely is. So are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, every day.
So
Thinking
nice.
about it all the time. Mm-hmm.
I just think of you as like set or something. Like you found
feel kind
this
of
vein.
sad.
Yeah. That's like what a person needs. Just something to set your heart on.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend earlier today who's over there, and she was saying that she was walking down the street and she came across a 6-year-old by herself on the road, and this girl was crying, and so she went up and said, "Hey, what's the matter?" And the girl said she had just gotten in a fight with her sister, so she ran out of the house, and then she said, "Okay, well, I'll hang out with you, talk to me." And then the sister came out, and then the mother came out, and next thing you know, they're all going back to her house to hang out for the entire day and blow bubbles. And it's just, it's like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 sec.
Mm-hmm.
I want to call for till 7. Yeah, keep going. So
I know that story, like that story in itself isn't like, okay, but it's just, that's so normal. Things like that are just so common over there, where it's just like, you just run into people and the next thing you know, you're buddies with them. And, you can just invite people over to your house kind of place.
Is so awesome.
And they say yes,
Right. There was,
yeah.
I went to Russia for a while in the mid 90s, and there was a lot not to like. I mean, it was just like uncomfortable, and food was bad and all this other stuff. But all of it was made up for by the fact that you just met people and they were like, let's sing Marlene Dietrich songs in my house. I have a piano.
Yeah.
And like, it just was like, and I just felt like I became a different person because I was like, don't mind if I do. That's a great idea. It's like I've been waiting my whole life to go sing
exactly.
songs.
Exactly. Yeah, what more could I want?
And things that you would like here in the States just be like, no way, what an insane person. That's not what I do,
Right.
And it did feel so liberating. Like yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I continue to be very glad that you have just found this place in the world.
Yep. It's nice. It's there for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe everyone has their own personal Vietnam.
Yeah. I'd recommend it. Anyway, do you want to do IFS today?
I do.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I would love to do that with you.
Okay, good. Sort of might let you lead because I don't. My head feels kind of empty right now.
Okay. Would you like to have a minute of meditation, see if anything comes up?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I'll set a timer for a minute. All right. Anything come up? Any parts you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
something did come up, which is that one of my kids just got turned down from something they had really wanted. And he seems completely okay with it. Like, right when I thought that he would be thinking about it, he was like thinking about whittling a wooden goat and didn't care at all.
Okay.
But I was like, fall to my knees, crushed about it. And
Okay.
I couldn't tell exactly what was going on, but it was definitely a trailhead. I mean, I was like racked with sobs.
Okay.
This is sort of, yeah.
Okay. In our last conversation, you were talking about your son thinking about joining the army.
Yeah.
And you talked about having parts that were like, what am I gonna tell people parts?
Yeah.
And I'm only mentioning
Yeah.
that just because I'm wondering if it's at all connected. And if so, that'll help me just because I just listened back to that call.
Yeah. No, that's good. It was, there was, I'm sure, some of that, but it was now even deeper than that. It was
Okay.
like, the army joining has turned out to be a little bit off the table. So, but I don't, it could come back, but this meant that like he had no prospects. Like there, like it wasn't like he got to decide. He just, there's nothing right now. I mean, or that's at least how it felt in my system.
Yes.
And
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Sounds like a good part to get to know.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Okay.
it was like racked with sobs kind of feeling.
Anything else you notice about how it shows up?
Really hot. Really hot. Really a lot of like this just total body temperature change. Like I just have to, I feel like I have just an instant fever or something.
Okay. And right now, how are you feeling towards that part?
Still a little scared of it, I think. I mean, it feels so tortured. It feels like if it started, it feels like if I go back to it, it's just like this certain agony will never stop.
Yeah. So there's fear that if we were to turn our attention back to it, that might happen.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Either we that would happen or we wouldn't get to it. Like it doesn't seem like there's a choice to.
Right. The only way to get to know it or to get to it is to have it overwhelm you.
It's to just to go all the way.
Okay. Well, I believe there are other ways. You can thank this part, the one that is scared. Just let it know that it makes sense. It sounds really unpleasant to be overwhelmed by that part.
Yeah.
But we can negotiate with it. We can check our own self energy to see if it feels right to go there. And if not, we won't go there.
I mean, it's sort of like a bell or something, but just when you said self energy, I got sort of hit with it, like just a good amount of it. Just sort of relaxed and serene and like, oh, there you are.
Yeah, sometimes parts just need a reminder.
Yeah. I feel like I had this when you said a different word, but this time it was like when you just said self energy, I was like, right, that's it. It's just, there's a lot of just reminding in life.
Yep.
You know?
Definitely. How's the scare part feeling?
Seen and heard and kind of quiet.
Okay. Does it need anything from you in order to let you? Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. I think it's pretty good.
Cool. Okay. It can jump back in if it feels the need.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about turning towards that one that felt crushed, racked with sobs?
I think ready.
Okay. Feeling curious and or compassionate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So the next step is to let that part know that you're here with your self energy. You'd like to get to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it knows that. It's like a little like a dog that's like just been snouted, like hit on its snout. It just is like, you know, just like it's having trouble getting its equilibrium. But it knows I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, you could ask it what it wants you to know.
It just says it's stuck in that snouted feeling. Like, and it can't see straight because it's just been hit.
Does it want you to know more about what hit it or why it was so hard for it?
It seems a little bit like it just seems very disoriented. Like, why'd you do that? Like, I don't know who it's talking to exactly, but just like, I don't know what I did wrong or like why did I deserve that? Like getting hit like in that particular way that of snouting. I don't know. That's what comes to mind.
Yeah, so it's hurt and disoriented.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let it know that we want to help it out with that. That you see it in that state. And just stay with it. See what else it wants you to know.
Really familiar with this feeling. Like it's just happened a lot of times.
It's felt that way before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it always feels like it's just the truth when it happens. Like it's just this catastrophic truth that I'll have to live by forever. Like that I've been kidding myself or something and I'm like brought up short. Like, nope, not getting that. Not like, yeah.
Okay.
And that everything from now on will be like a second best. Like,
yeah.
You know, I've learned this thing that is, and I can't come back from it, that things are not really going to be very good.
Does it want to show you? Mm-hmm.
It definitely is like a kind of violent rejection that has come up, and we've talked about, like, around this friend of mine that seemed to kind of reject me when I was 8, and like just jobs or past relationships, or just past, like, nah, you're not gonna get this. Nope. You're not right for this. You're not right for us. You don't accept you.
Yeah. Okay. So it makes sense to you why this part feels so disoriented and how it's felt in the past?
Yeah, it doesn't, like, when I summarize it as a feeling of rejection, it doesn't capture how deep or how dark it feels. Like when I think this has happened to other people, like, not everyone gets everything they want. I think, like, I must not be describing it right then, because this is so unbearable. It can't have happened to anyone but me. Like, this is something that is unsurvivable.
Yeah.
Um,
when it
yeah.
talked about there being like people not accepting you or you not being right for this, does it feel like there's a part of you that feels at its core kind of unacceptable and not right?
Yeah, something like that. Not exactly, though. It's like it usually follows a period of, like, confidence, like, or maybe it's almost like, but, like, sort of in the dog snouting feeling. It's like, but I am good. Like, but I'm being misunderstood. Like, I am good for this. I would have been good. Like, this would have made perfect sense, but, like, the world doesn't see it. And so I'm just going to sound crazy when I think, like,
think that you're worthy of the thing or good?
or like that I'm just going to be not accepting the truth of that, like, the world doesn't want me, like, in my head it's like, of course this should work. Why isn't this working? And then I'm almost like I remember when that friend sort of rejected me, or he just kind of turned away. I can't remember all the details, but she just was, like, not present or not returning my phone calls or something when I was little. I thought almost like it was like a joke or something, like it would soon be revealed that, like, she hadn't gotten the calls or something. Like, it couldn't be what I thought it was. And this rejection too feels like, oh, I guess I don't understand at all, because I was like, maybe this is a surprise party. Like, someone's just going to be like, this is a mistake. And I guess there's, like, some fear that, like, I'm miscalculating, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Like, I
there's the pain of the rejection, and then there's also the pain of how did I misread this or have such confidence?
Yes, exactly. Like, not only am I, it's like, how could you ever even thought that you would fit into this thing? And I just still continue to be like, I actually also, like, actually said to the couples therapist when I was getting divorced, or, like, when it was slowly being broken to me that my husband was leaving, I was like, I actually really thought, like, on some level, I was like, is this a surprise party where we're just kidding?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's like, I'm just misreading symbols, and I think people like me who don't like me, and I think I'm succeeding when I'm failing, and just this total feeling of being out of sync. I don't know if that captures it exactly, but yes, if there's some like defect here, it's like, I'm just like, the rhythms are off. I'm not, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing in this world. And well, how did I ever think I could do this?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that being really painful.
Yeah.
How's the part feel being acknowledged by you?
Really good.
Yeah. Does it feel like you understand it?
Yeah. If there's some manager part right around here that's like, you're not seeing this exile completely. You need to like ask more about this or probe more here. But when that steps back, I'm feeling like I'm just vibing with this little snouted guy, you know?
Yeah. Well, you could ask the little snouted guy again, like, what more does it want to show you? Does it feel like you understand it? And then, if so, kind of what does it need from you?
Yeah, it's just like I'm just sitting here kind of stung, like stung. That's like a hot, stinging feeling. Um, I tried something and I failed, and now I'm just like sitting under this hot, embarrassing spotlight of being kind of kicked out, but also sort of singled out. Like this thing that my son got rejected from, like, you know, all of his friends got in or whatever. And that feels like, um, I guess that's a little bit also like sort of what will my friends think as like, ugh, well, I can't, like, I'm just, this part is like very aware of like standing out and being like everything like a sore thumb or something swollen and red and in pain. And it's just standing out when it wanted so much to just fit in and be let in. Um, so I think it really wants to capture that stinging part, that part of it that's just feels like it's inflamed.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds really important. It wants to capture it. It wants for you to understand it and to recognize it. Is that
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And somehow maybe be able to like bring the rash down or like cool it off or bring the swelling down or something. Um, the feeling of like being inflamed or in flames or something right after, you know, I got this news is very, it's just very real. It's like, I don't want to think this far ahead, but somehow the solution to everything or like the thing that calms my mind down in the short term is always getting into water, you know? And
Yeah, it's
this
all
is
burning up.
yeah, it's just burning out. I mean, it's like standing out and burning up and anticipating like people will come and give me condolences and like I'll just be like the person who failed or the I don't know, and just standing out is what it is. And it feels like, you know, being flushed and just instead of that, sort of imagining like my temperature dropping or its temperature dropping and like the swelling going down. That's sort of what I think this part wants.
Okay. you could ask it how you can help it with that.
I think it's it's grass and water. For some reason, I am thinking like sometimes you don't really want to get a rash of wet. So, but I guess in my world, in this world, I don't have to understand how the body works.
That's
just
right.
Shade and coolness and grass and water and a little bit of just like invisibility, like just being in
Absolutely.
shade.
Okay. Does that feel like something you can kind of provide for it now inside and just stay with it and see what else it has to show you in that space?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that like this is definitely a part that I always thought was like a bad part. Like thinking as though is that like if rejection is the worst possible thing that can happen, the like clear way to invite it is to act rejected or like let that part surface. So I feel like I'm just like right. So I'm just like rush.
The last thing we want to do is show how much it hurts when we're rejected because we're just going to perpetuate it.
Exactly. Right. So like the protectors that jump in are like a lot of just like fronting and I'm fine and like don't talk to me and and yeah. And so even like thinking it's interesting because I feel like one thing this part wants, since it just like didn't get in somewhere, is to be let in, like to be let into that exact place that it felt rejected from. And that is like something I think self can provide.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the rejection kind of happens twice. It's like I see something in the world and then then I feel rejected. And then I take the part of me that feels rejected and reject it,
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That is how we become traumatized by events that in themselves aren't necessarily traumatizing. It's the insult that we add to the injury.
It's true. It is. Yeah. It's so true. It's like, even just this time that my friend kind of rejected or did reject me when I was in third grade. It's like it's like something like that, right? That's now what, like 40 something years ago, is something that I'm like, I can't tell anyone. Like I'm like, still shouldn't be telling anyone when it's like a little fight between two girls in a northern New England town. Like it just couldn't be less embarrassing or even charged. And it happened a long, long time ago. And yet it seems like this terrible secret. Like almost like you would be like, I can't believe that person rejected you,
and what that says about you.
Yeah. Yeah. You must have done something wrong. And so this part that's holding the rejection and that has been thoroughly rejected by me,
Yeah.
So much that I like sort of write the story of my life to like reframe all those things, like job losses and breakups and whatever, to be anything other than this rejection thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really seeing it now.
Yeah. It's sort of interesting how quickly the like internal family pulls off these operations. You know, like everyone taking their like a thing happens in the world that is just another thing, like anything. I mean, just, you know.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we have kind of cat-like reflexes, except instead of physical, they're emotional and internal.
Yeah. And they're also, everything's like iron filings or something. It's like just falls into place. Like, okay, take your positions. Okay, done. Like it's just like very well trained. And you just start on the path. Yeah. And this, I mean, a huge thing that has come up in every time or over the arc of all our calls is that there are these two protectors. I used to think that there were so many parts I couldn't get a hold of them and that they'd all just like were chaotic in it. But now sometimes they reduce quickly. Like they just, right? It's interesting. But the two protectors that kind of come up around a bunch of around, I guess, a certain number of exiles or exiles generally are one that wants to work harder and one that wants to just be super groovy and spiritual. And they're like these little twins. They seem to be sort of fighting with themselves, but
kind of like a manager and a firefighter. The groovy spiritual kind of sounds like could like be a firefighter kind of mode where it's like just let it go.
Yeah. You know? Bypass. Yeah. Have no feelings. I'm just letting it go right into the air. Yeah, that's right. I think you're right, because my firefighter was definitely drinking back in the day. So, and drinking is, and that
was a way of detaching, right?
Absolutely. And like had a spiritual element, because it's just like, now I'm just up here with the clouds, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you're right, manager and firefighter. I mean, you know, the first reaction to the response to this, to my son's, you know, rejection was, there's got to be stuff I can do. I'll just make calls. I'll write letters. I'll like spend money. There must be something I can do. And then the other one was like, man, this world is so success oriented. You just got to let go, you know, and like, and they are there so quickly. And I realized like one of them gets rewards someplace and the other one gets rewards other places. And I could live endlessly between them. You know, one of them scamming and hustling and strategizing and trying to get ahead, and the other one telling myself that like none of it matters. And underneath that, like, it's just this little rejected part that just wants to be sat with, you know?
Yeah. You mentioned it being little. Do you notice an age about it?
I mean, 3 comes to mind, but I can't, I don't attach it to an event in my life. The snouted feeling, I may have brought this up with you before. It's just this, my dad used to like do roughhousing with my brother and me after dinner sometimes. And it was like really exciting because he didn't play with us that much. And if I asked to go first, he would make sure I went last. So like, I feel like he was like, who wants to go first? And then I would raise my hand and then he'd be like, basically, if you ask to go first, you go last. And it was for some reason just this sucker thing that happened all the time. It was like his thing to teach you not to be whatever. And
what age are you remembering that?
That's like real toddler time, like 2 and 3.
Do you want to go there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can get in touch with that 2 or 3-year-old that felt kind of like a sucker when she was honest about what she wanted and received the opposite from your father.
Yeah, just so confusing. Like,
yeah.
the look on her face just kind of stunned. Like,
of course.
Yeah.
You get her to notice you there? And just tell her you want to understand what that was like for her?
She's really stuck on like trying to understand the lesson of it, like don't ask to go first. Maybe that's a good point. I should learn that.
Right. So she has her own kind of manager parts of like, okay, we need to figure out how to play this game a little bit differently. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, if you like some complicated, if you want to go first, don't ask to go first. Like, where other times, if you want something, you should ask for it. This is the time where you should do the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems really confusing and punishing too.
Sounds like it.
And then, like, my brother was sort of better at roughhousing or something, so he would go first, and then they would just be having so much fun. And then when I finally got my time, it seemed like sort of an afterthought, and just also I was still feeling sorry and embarrassed for asking to go first.
Mm-hmm. Are you taking that in? Is she seeing you acknowledge that and what that was like for her?
Can you hear some kids playing outside?
I didn't.
It's kind of cool. I can she's not very easy to approach because she's like afraid that I might talk her out of like that I might be like, oh, he's just being mean, or that's not when like she's just firmly convinced that he has a point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you might have parts that have that kind of mode or agenda to rationalize or kind of do battle with her other parts that are saying, wait, well, maybe Dad has a point. Maybe I do need to figure something out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
so you can just
it doesn't, I just sort of saw like it doesn't matter if he has a point or not, like it like it's
it was hurtful and confusing to her.
Exactly. And he like it's not like he could or should have done it differently, or it's
right.
just
And my question is, are those parts of you that might want to bicker with her, are they giving you space to be with her from that place of I just want to witness your hurt and confusion?
Yeah, it's the parts that come in are like parts that really wanted to be mature and get it, like where where my brother was like just having fun. I was like, oh, okay, I have this bigger responsibility to understand confusing truths about life. Like, and I was so childish to like have asked to go first. And now it's true I didn't get to go first, but now I'm the one that possesses the more adult understanding of how the world works. That's like my consolation prize. But I also don't want it taken away from me. It's like I'm a little scared to have that taken away by saying like, oh no, let's go back and like baby this part.
Right. So we're not going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to baby her.
Yeah.
And again, those parts that say it's childish, they're there for a good reason.
Yeah.
This was her world for her to try to figure out.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with her having that reaction of, I need to figure this out.
Right. And if I couldn't get close to my dad with the rough housing, I could get close to my dad by like I'm taking the lessons he taught really seriously and like learning them well.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like this sort of sad consolation prize or something. Like now that I look at it, I'm like, I like I'd rather I'd rather have learned less about humility and actually gotten to just have fun.
Yes.
You know?
Of course. So the parts of you that might want to baby her, do you have space from them?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just let her know she can show you that. She can show you how she just rather have had fun and not have to try to figure out that lesson at that time. She wanted to spend time with her dad.
Yeah.
Having fun.
Yeah.
It was hurtful. It was confusing. She didn't feel like she could really voice that, or that it would be childish if she did, or it was childish for her to ask to go first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does she feel like you get it? Is there more that she wants you to see or understand about that?
It's like not it's like not everything has to be a teachable moment or a teaching moment. Or even like an opportunity to like show off or discover how philosophical I can be, you know?
Yeah. She wanted connection and playfulness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How would it feel, check it out with her, for you to go back into that time with her and provide for her what she needed?
So funny about this one. It's so I feel like just whole sections of my life are defined against the idea of saying like, poor little me, I just wanted to play, I am so determined to show that I learned the lesson.
I bet you did. I bet you learned a lot of lessons from that.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have to do it with a poor little you. It can be, we understand what this child wants in a way that maybe dad didn't, or we understand how it feels to her in a way that she didn't feel like she could express.
Right.
And we want to give her that. She knows what she needs. She already voiced it.
Yeah.
And it's not a poor little thing. It's just can we help this little girl out and give her what it is she needed?
Yeah. Yeah.
She wanted play. She wanted play and connection.
Yeah.
And have a break from the learning philosophy lessons that were confusing to her.
Right. Or just seemed like an excuse not to hang out with me. Like,
right.
Okay, right. I guess I now have to just imagine that there's some lesson of why I don't get to play. Like, so not only do I in fact have to play, I have to like sit in remedial school to learn why I'm not worth playing with.
Right. Yeah. She was getting that message that like she doesn't get it. She didn't understand the signs and the symbols.
Yes, exactly.
But really it just hurt. That was the main emotional experience, was the hurt and confusion.
And also, now that I'm thinking about it, I think another thing I took away from it is like, is like that whole thing of it being like, that's just bullshit. That's just another way of saying you don't want to play with me, you know?
Yeah. You just let her express that to you. Okay. That feeling like this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And again, you could offer to go back in her time, and if someone else needs to hear that message, if she wants to have you help her, you know, if that's part of what she wants to voice or something in that time, you can go for it. Just whatever she needed from someone at that time.
I don't know, somehow it would be like some idea that everyone gets to go first, and not even like in a taking turns way, but maybe it's like everyone's first with self.
Yeah.
And just right? In like some weird math where like it's not that you want to go first so someone else can go last. You just want to be like magically at the front of the line, and it's okay.
And there's nothing wrong with her wanting to go first.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think if she thought that she was first with self, that would feel really good.
Yes.
And also that she'd asked for it and had someone be like, good point, you should go first.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. So can you provide that for her back in that time?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, if she's like, who wants to go first? Me. How about me? And then the answer is like, good idea.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Like at a magic show or something where they're like super happy to have a volunteer.
That's right. It takes courage to go first, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, come on, we got to get someone out here. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. And like the person's very grateful. The person that I'm wanting to be with is just very grateful that I stepped up.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't like, you selfish freak.
Right. That's the person she wanted to be with.
That's the person she wanted to be with, exactly.
And my guiding prompt is go be with her in the way that she needed someone.
Yeah.
Be that person.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like later, because I do often, you know, volunteer for things and speak up for things. And I feel like there's just this wonderful time when I've like sensed that like a teacher or someone like they really need someone to do this,
That's
and
right.
they're really eager to have a volunteer. And
That's
when
right.
we sort of meet there and they say like, I just feel like we're totally meeting each other's needs,
Right.
and that
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going first.
there's nothing wrong with going first. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going first. And it really was just enthusiasm. I mean, I was just like,
that's right.
That's why that snoutedness thing, it's like just, a dog bounding to do something fun and then just like blammo. Okay.
Right. Right. Yeah, because the lesson that she would have been internalizing is don't show enthusiasm. Say, Dad, I don't want to go.
I don't really want to go. Yeah. Or like, everyone can, like, this is roughhousing. This isn't like who wants the bigger piece of cake or some thing where there's table manners. This is like, goofing around. Like, if I was like, oh no, after you to my brother, it just seemed like it wouldn't be the tone,
That's right. That's right. It sounds like she did understand the tone of roughhousing.
Yeah. It was like, yeah. And then I was like, felt a little set up. It was like,
sounds like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean sounds like your dad was setting you up. I can understand that why it would feel that way to her, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm really understanding the sort of radicalism of IFS in this way of like other people are innocent. Like I could have done anything.
Dad's got parts.
Dad's got parts, exactly. And also I could have done anything with that moment, like I could have totally forgotten it. I could have, but it created a part, Yeah. And I think also that goes to really why you hate why to hate your rejected part, because then if you show you want to go first, you'll never go first. And you can't show that you were deprived of going first because you can't show that you wanted to go first.
It's a lot. It's quite a bind, especially for a 3-year-old.
It's quite a bind, especially for
I would have trouble with that at my age.
Like, did your parent, was that not like a lesson in other people's houses?
I don't know. I'm just imagining if I was at any event or if anyone I cared about said, hey, who wants to go first? And I said me, and they said, then you're going last. I wouldn't be smiling after they said that.
No. What was that a lesson in your house?
Maybe I'd be smiling at what the fuck is wrong with him. But again, sorry, I don't mean to bring in my parts, and this isn't about your dad, and that's not what I want to bring to this.
No, I know, but what the fuck is wrong with them? Like
what? Yeah, what's going on with that person that they would do that? That's yeah. On a good day, I would be inquisitive in a positive way.
Right. On another day, we might just be
on another day, I'd be like, all right, I'm not playing with that person anymore.
Yeah. Like if I overheard a dad doing that or something, and I would be like, oh, come on. Because it's
and that's another thing when it's going back into her time, you get to do that. You get to be in that place where not only can you maybe provide what she needed, but you can be in that place where you do overhear dad saying that, and you can say, Dad, come on. You can't, those are other ways that you could, if she wants, or if it feels right, to kind of redo that scene where the other adult in the room says,
right, right,
give her a break.
Yes.
She's
also, it just seems very clear when I look at the scene right now that he just didn't know how to play with kids, and he wanted to try something that, like, I don't know, he'd seen in movies, and
yeah, maybe.
And then, but he also was like, raising children means teaching them important lessons, and so
Right.
I'm not gonna like just have fun.
Right.
And at least that's the message I got, which is like, this is all much more of a studied, contrived moment than it is a like,
maybe he was going for that.
Yeah, or at least that's what I took away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is she feeling connected with you?
Yeah, especially that actually really helped when you were like, I just don't want to play with this person. Because I guess on some level, having not really discussed this with people, I've thought that, like, once again, I'm stuck in that moment. So I thought that you might, or you or whoever, a regular adult hearing it would be like, well, you did need to learn that lesson because you were being selfish. Like, it's just stuck there.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't believe that you were being selfish.
Are you sure?
100,000%. And I love the idea of everyone can go first.
Yeah.
I've been in a room full of 3-year-olds, and yeah, if I'm gonna play a game, I'm gonna try to think of a game where everybody gets to kind of go at once. It's a tough thing to manage, waiting in line, especially at that age. And that's just not.
It doesn't seem like it's like some important lesson of life, too. Like, you'll learn not to stand in line soon enough.
Yes.
Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, she's a bit younger than I've been able to access before. In such a clear scene, too. Just on this strange red rug.
Yeah. Is there anything more that she wants to redo with you back there, or would she like to come out of that time and go somewhere else with you?
I think there's some part of this particular moment that she didn't really want to play this game because it seemed like a performance, not like actual fun, which is another weird part of things. Like,
it wasn't the game she would have chosen.
Yeah, but also the tone of it was like, it was just forced. I mean, just the more I think about it, it was like, an old fashioned dad being like, now I'm going to play with my children, you know? And I wanted like to give him that fantasy.
Yeah.
So maybe I didn't even in that moment really want to go first. I mean, I'm not sure I would have, I don't know. I think if he had been actually lighthearted about it, and I hadn't felt like I'd had to do the work of making him feel like he was being a good dad, then I probably would have wanted to goof around like that. Like, but the combination of the sort of getting suckered into saying I want to go first and then not getting to go first, and something about the whole thing being like, is this just a moral lesson, or is this like a time to show off what being a dad looks like, or that you're paying attention to us? I don't know. Everything about it seems sort of unnatural.
So she's kind of, and wanting to manage him and,
Yes,
make sure dad doesn't feel bad.
Yes.
For trying, and she's got to enter into this performance.
Because everyone's kind of holding their breath, I feel like, in the room.
Yeah.
Like, he's really gonna do this? And like my mom's like psyched because he's showing interest in us, but it's not gonna last very long. And he doesn't, I mean, later he said like he had no idea what to do with us until, we could have conversations. And so, I mean, it's just like such a set piece that he's trying to do. So anyway, that's also, I think, part of it. So in some ways, like it just felt like gift. I had to like learn an act. Like, if I'm going to be playing dad, you have to play child in the right way. And initially that's showing enthusiasm about what I'm doing. And then it's showing that you learned the lesson I taught you. And it's just like, well, this sucks because there is a world where I'm 3 and I just like, want to goof around.
Yeah. A world where play is just play.
Play is just, right.
Without all of that.
Where you wouldn't even remember the experience. It would just be like something
so natural.
Something was really pleasurable in the moment and just had low stakes. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that also you can set up for her if it's thinking about where else she might like to be. If that is a quality of her ideal place and relationship.
The thing that makes this really feel relevant to the recent rejection feeling is that is that the stakes for each one of these things feel so high. Like, it feels like I like go from sort of trying and in the game to like instantly like bankrupt and at death's door or something. Like right after, it's just like, okay, here goes. We're setting up to do this after dinner, play on the floor thing. And like, I'm a little wary of my dad because he's taking on a project that's unusual for him. And it doesn't seem to be like with my brother and me in mind. But he's going to do it and we've got to make it work for him. And so now here I am and I'm showing enthusiasm for it. And now blammo, like the enthusiasm was wrong. And I've like the degree of difficulty for this thing seems so high and so easy to mess up.
Impossibly high.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's like, and then I like go to bed that night. Like then I go through the routine of like actually doing it and squealing and pretending to be into it and stuff. And then like just sick to my stomach when I go to bed. Like, and then that.
And that's something that you don't get to show.
Right.
It's not okay to feel all of that, the rejection and the sickness.
Yeah, because also the pain or the suffering or something is just like would just be attributed to you didn't get to go first and you're still mad.
Right.
Right. And my family would kind of frame it that way. So that also is very confusing. So it's just like, oh, got her feelings hurt. Oops. Oh, Charlotte got her feelings hurt because she is, because she didn't get to go first and she tries to have everything for herself. And then I think if I tried to articulate it, I'm not sure I ever did, but it would just seem like I was making excuses or something for my,
right.
Yeah.
she feel good articulating this to you? It's incredible.
Yeah.
I think the amount of witnessing you're doing with her and staying with her experience.
Yeah, it's that second part of it came because I was thinking, well, maybe she just wants me to roughhouse with her, and then realizing, no, not that either. Just doesn't want to have to like put on any acts like that or learn lessons. Just wants some like spontaneous, like forgettable, fun time together.
Yeah. And it was sickening to her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she just had to take that. Because if she shared it, again, added insult to injury.
Yeah. The play also was a little violent. It was a little like it was like decidedly kind of unfun. And yeah, definitely there's like a late and older protector that could come in and be like, you know what, fuck your games. You're just trying to hurt them and call it playing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, but being able to hang out with her and all like in all the kind of complexity of that moment feels really good. It's also, I thank you for letting me unpack it so much.
Thank you. I mean, and thank her. Like, you're doing great.
I mean, I know you're going away for a while, but can I just take another opportunity to say, I think this project is really amazing and just kind of a masterpiece. Like I know everyone else feels it too, but I just don't know how you did this. Like you just like learned this process and made it your own, and it's just helped so many people. And
it's easy to learn, I think, because it's true and it's in us all.
Yeah.
And so when people are doing it like you're doing it now, I'm not doing anything. And so you're creating the masterpiece here. And that just kind of keeps happening. So I agree. It's awesome. And thank you.
I liked, yeah. I mean, it's that unnameable process of like holding self energy or creating it for someone else. Just, I think Olivia said like the parts just line up, or she had some like great phrase. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, they're so happy to come out in that context.
Right. Yeah. That's what they all need.
That's what they all need. And they're like, their shoulders relax and just like, oh, what took you so long? Yeah.
Would you like me to list some of the steps that I would normally recommend after witnessing an exile? Okay. One is to invite her out of that place and to go somewhere that's just right for her.
Okay.
And then the other is to check in her body for where she's carrying burdens and pains, like when she felt sick to her stomach for having to perform.
Yeah.
And ask her how she'd like to give those up.
That's good.
And then I'm usually suggesting that people find a way to stay in touch with these parts.
She's a good one to stay in touch with. I like that.
Yes.
It'll take me a while to really find what she actually likes to do. And that seems kind of fun.
Yeah.
She doesn't like to learn lessons about humility.
No.
And she doesn't like to play act with someone so they can feel that they're being a good dad.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been carrying that for a long time.
Yeah.
That those are things that she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just help her let go of those.
That seems potentially kind of easy because it's just like hanging around with a kid who really does want to tell me, like, I want to step up and do these things.
Right.
It's so funny how useful it is to hear you say, like, you wouldn't like that if someone had said that to you as a kid. just because I don't know. I hadn't like,
I was actually saying as an adult. I mean, if someone said that to me today, maybe that would be parts of me, but yeah, it would be disconnecting. And parts of me would feel rejected and confused and angry.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yep, just stay with her. Keep checking in on her.
I'll how are you reachable, if at all?
Discord is the easiest, fastest way.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll check in with you because, of course, I want to hear how your time is and say hi.
Please check in with me anytime.
They have the internet, I guess, all around the world.
Yeah. Well, in these little countries, it's like super high speed everywhere you go. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Should be fine. Although I do have a dream of moving further from the current house is kind of in the city, and I would like to find one a little more remote. So we'll see. But
like with dial-up?
I don't know.
Or nothing. Maybe no internet.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll have, like I said, it'll have high-speed cell phone probably.
Well, I think it's going to be great, and I will find you on Discord, and I'm just very grateful to you.
You too. Good work.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye, James.
Bye. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.